Hello guys, this is your friend Dark Fox. We are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Kushina secretly raised Naruto among the hearts of beautiful Kunoichi? Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Week had passed since the friendly spar with Team 7 and soon not after the spar ended. A lot has happened since then. First, Kushina was being summoned to the council. As she fully expected, the council was quite mad at her student for hurting their last precious Uchiha heir who holds the most powerful dujutsu in the elemental nations. As for Kushina, she didn't really care how much damage the Uchiha boy had received from the matches. She knew well that the counselors did not truly care for the boy since they only treated the boy as their most powerful tool to help them earn more money. She was also quite aware the fact that behind the mask of those counselors, know or unknown about her identity, they were still aware of her status of Kyuubi's Jinchuriki had live in the wall. If she decides to leave Konoha, most counselor would probably beg the third Hokage to bring her back. Until the end of the meeting, there was no punish given by the third Hokage, even though the civilian counselors strongly suggested that the third Hokage to disband Team 9 and rearrange other students to Kushina teams, but their suggestion was immediately turned down by the third Hokage with the threat of throwing several leading civilian out the meeting. Second, Kushina had continued the training she planned for Naruto, while slowly increasing the intensity as the awaken of Naruto bloodline may cause even more trouble to them now. It is lucky that Naruto only awakened his Uchiha bloodline alone. For now, she has heard from the elder in Uzumaki that the Namikaze bloodline may be more destructive, but that may be just rumor as there isn't any famous Namikaze known to the world except Minato. Not to mention, Kushina and Naruto had been running around Konoha doing D-rank missions. Sometimes it would just be the two of them on the mission, and other times they would be joining one of the other teams from Naruto's years. Which annoyed Naruto to no end, but he still managed to learn lots of stuff after the mission was over. During Kushina's younger age, she used to stay in Uchiha clan head houses when she was with Minato. Thus she still managed to unlock the seal formula of the clan head's library during midnight and secretly retrieve some scroll about Sharingan from the Uchiha district to Naruto. Today, we found Kushina and Naruto making their way toward the Hokage Tower with the said young blonde holding a cage which contains a dangerous raging beast and was the nightmare of all Konoha genin Tora. Meow. Meow. Sensei, can I just throw this beast away? Naruto asked in annoyed as this is the fourth time that they were sent to retrieve the stupid cat that somehow keep running away from the noble wife house. Well, although I have the same wish to dispose of this cat Naru-chan, but, you know the rule. Kushina replied with an apologetic smile, while she looks at the annoyed faces that her student has on his face, which in her opinion is quite cute as he still has some baby fat on his face. But, Kushina said with a change in her expression and walks closer to Naruto before whisper in a low voice which only Naruto can hear. You did a very good job for finding the cat within 10 minutes, so I will give you a small reward after we finish this mission. Is that alright to you? Kushina teased playfully and had dozens of thoughts swimming in her mind, but the sudden hand landed on her right with a smack and then another on her left surprised her greatly and made the said Uzumaki go completely rigid. How about I get my reward now? Sensei, was the reply of Naruto with a nicely healthy smile, and his left hand took hold of the cage while his right hand began groping Kushina's cheek. Someone is being eager, aren't you? Kushina replied with a soft peck on Naruto's forehead, making the said blonde blush a bit. You will receive better reward later. Let's go to the Hokage Tower first, Naru-chan. Hokage office. After 5 minutes, both Naruto and Kushina have reached the tower just when Kushina is going to knock on the door. She can clearly hear the arguing sound inside the office, and it sounds like the old Hokage is currently arguing with some old man. I pay more than this. And this is the best you can offer me. Trust me, Tazuna-san, Team 7 is the best genin team we can offer, and your payment can only afford 1 or maximum 2 chunins to escort you. The third Hokage replied. When Kushina heard the familiar name of Tazuna, she was surprised and recalled the memories about this old man before she decided to enter the Hokage's office. Knock, knock, come in, Hokage-sama. Team 9 had completed the mission. And Tazuna Gigi, is it nice to see you still healthy and well? Kushina greeted both old men with a smile and caused the old bridge builder to turn his head to Team 9 with surprise all written over his face. Kushina-san. Tazuna Gigi. Nice to see you again. The blonde teenager greeted with a foxy grin, and the old bridge builder also smiled happily in return when he saw the young blonde. Naruto boy, you have grown up so much. The old bridge builder replied, and like a grandpa, he quickly walked toward the blonde and checked him from head to toe. Decided to let her son have a small conversation with the old bridge builder. Kushina begin her report, as she has to show her professional inside the office even if she is happy to see the old bridge builder again. How are you, Naruto, my boy? I hope you haven't been causing too much trouble for your mother. I have been good, Gigi, and I am an official shinobi now. The blonde boy replied proudly to the bridge builder and pointed at his forehead protector, which made the old bridge builder smile happily. Well done, Team 9, you are dismissed. Hokage-sama, may I request to change my escort team to Kushina-san team? The third Hokage was surprised by the request of the old bridge builder, but he can see the reason behind Tazuna's wish to change the escort team. Hokage-sama, you said the money I paid was only affordable for a team. Then I will gladly choose Kushina-san's team as my escort since they have been to Wave before. Tazuna replied, and this caused the third Hokage to begin his brainstorming. Sure, he is okay to have Team 7 or Team 9 tag along the mission since it would be a good opportunity for the genin to take a look at the view outside the wall. However, his duty as the Hokage forbade him to do so. First, the payment made by Tazuna was only affordable for one team. If he allows Team 9 to take over the mission, it will be unfair to Team 7. Second, if he allowed Kushina's team to tag along, it may begin a bad example for the payment of genin team, and the most serious issue was, can he allow the Jinchuriki to leave Konoha? TCH. You want a loser to escort you instead of the elite. Foolish old man. During the third Hokage brainstorming, one of the team members of Team 7, or in better terms Kiba, once again begins his mocking on Naruto's team. Looks like the boy still hasn't learned his lesson after the last sparring and has his wounds being treated in the hospital for a whole week. Can I really let Team 9 be out of the wall? What will the council say when they find out? You know what? Let the council go screw themselves. It was bad enough for me to be blamed by several clan heads due to the second Hokage birthday tournament. You have made a valid point, Mr. Tazuna. Since you have stated that Kushina team is more familiar with Wave Country, I will agree on this escort mission, but with one condition. Team 7 shall also take part in this escort mission. I will not put an extra charge for the payment, but I wish you to provide them a place to stay during the mission. Is that acceptable? The old Hokage asked. Several hours later. The Bridge of Wave. Several hours later. Since Tazuna wishes to return to Wave as soon as possible, both teams took off rather quickly, after their encounter with the Mizu demon brothers, who intended to ambush them but being spotted by Team 9 and has Kakashi being defeated by the demons, which turn out just a test to his team. Tazuna finally told both teams the truth behind this mission. After both teams knew about the truth behind Wave Country emergency status, Kakashi's team strongly recommended returning to Konoha since the situation was out of their control. If they were not careful enough, this mission may become the spark to enlighten the conflict between countries. However, seeing that Team 9 wishes to continue the mission, Team 7 can only agree to continue the mission, with all of them having their own thoughts in their mind, especially Kiba. Damn that dope. But this may be a chance for me to impress Kushina. Just you wait, Kushina, you will soon moan my name. This was the thought of the horny Kiba. It seems he is still out of the reality and continues in his daydream while keeping eyeing Kushina's when she walks. An hour later, the team has finally reached the border of Konoha, and present in front of them is the giant Great Bridge of Wave which is still in construction. Wow, that's huge. Hey, remember who is the one crafting it? Tazuna said proudly with his nose almost reaching the sky, but just when they step onto the bridge, their vision was suddenly blocked by thick mist. Tazuna-san, is there always so much mist here? Usually no, it's kind of strange. Wave will only has small mist that barely disturb our vision. I am also first time encounter mist that thick. Tazuna replied to Kakashi, as it was true. Even now it is midday, both teams can barely see what is in front of them. Guys, be careful, this may be an enemy's jutsu. I once heard there was a jutsu name, Hidden Mist, that is commonly used in Mist Village. Kushina said and caused both Team 7 and her team to be alert, with all the genin immediately grabbing hold on their kunai while advancing slowly. Suddenly there was a giant light source appear and coming straight forward them. Dodge! Kushina exclaimed as she quickly grabbed the old bridge builder and jumped to the side, with her student also doing the same, and had Team 7 leader Kakashi grab Sakura, Kiba and Sasuke to the side. Itachi, how can you miss such a large target? Said a voice inside the mist, and with a wave of his blade a part of the mist was being blown off and had the attacker reveal himself to the Konoha shinobi. Itachi! Sasuke roared in rage as he tried to rush toward Itachi but was held back by Kakashi. This isn't good, thought Kushina as she looked at her opponent. Hoshigaki Kisame aka Monster of the Mist, Genjutsu Master Uchiha Itachi, and Momochi Zabuza, Demon of the Mist. Kakashi mumbled, as he eyed his foes carefully, and one thing he can say is the situation in front of him is very bad, 2 S-class missing nins and 1 A-class rouge nin. Hey Itachi, it seems we are quite famous around here. Well, seems you are aware of us, then I suppose introduction isn't needed, so how about you just hand the bridge builder to us? And run away. Kisame suggests with a chuckle and has his blade to grin like approving his words. Not going to happen. If you want him then you will have to fight for him. Kushina retorted as she pulled out her sword from her seal storage that is applied on her hand guard. That's what I like to hear. Chuck. The shark skin rouge nin said happily before he went into his battle stance. Kakashi, you handle Zabuza, I will take care both Itachi and Sharky. Kushina ordered, and with that was said the whole flies became dead silent. Both Konoha S-rank shinobi inspect the move of their enemy with caution. As for the Genins and Tazuna, they are all very nervous as this is the first time that they are going to handle Rouge Nin. Zabuza, do your thing, Kisame ordered. Just take care yourself, Shark. Zabuza replied with annoyance and began to flash through hand seals. Kakashi, we have to stop that technique, Kushina said in a hurry as she immediately dashed forward hoping to disturb Zabuza to cast the jutsu, but only being blocked by Kisame with his sword. Hehe, your fight is with me. Lightning blade. Kakashi exclaimed and had lightning cover up his hand and kunai before he charged toward Zabuza, but he was disturbed when Itachi showed up just in front of him. Water release. Hidden in the mist technique. The demon of the mist exclaimed as the mist once again covered up the whole bridge and all 3 Rouge Nin along with the Junins, totally leaving out the Genins with the old bridge builder. Now there left only the Genins to guard the bridge builder with the sound of metal clashing echoing through the mist. The best word to describe Team 7's current feeling is scare. The sound of metal clashing would only increase their nervousness. Sasuke-kun, I am scared, Sakura said in a timid voice as she grabbed hold onto her beloved Sasuke's hand tightly like her life depended on him. As for Kiba and Sasuke, both boys are trying to locate within all the metal clashing sound. Maybe we should retreat now, Kiba suggested with a gulp as he can't stop his legs that are shaking like crazy. All those thoughts of banging another girl and self-proclaimed alpha were all gone when he first encountered such a deadly situation. There is one thought that keeps swimming in his mind, which is to run back to Konoha. Kiba. Clank. But before Kiba can actually put his mind into action, he is suddenly pushed away by Naruto throwing a shinobi pouch toward him, which causes him to fall backward. Kiba was still confused as hell when he was hit by the pouch. The next thing he saw almost caused him shit in his pants as a sword mark appeared just where he was standing. Naruto was the first one to sense an unknown chakra signature appear behind the Kiba and can only react by pushing the boy away while he himself quickly activate his Sharingan to locate the enemy. Oh, I didn't know that there is a genin able to pinpoint my location when I used my silent assassinate skill. The figure said, with Naruto reverse grabbing his kunai and ordering Team 7, protect the client. Don't leave him out of your sight. But, the figure said, and out of sudden a sword appeared from the left of Naruto and it was filled with lightning chakra. Reacting quickly, Naruto quickly pushed back the sword and jumped backward, but still had his shoulder being cut a bit. Who are you? Oh, I am surprised you can't even recognize the blades. Well, the figure said as he steps into the clearing with all members of Team 7 being frozen up because of his content KI. I am Kurosuke Raiga, also known well as Thunder in the Hidden Mist, and this baby is my precious weapon Kiba Blades. The Rouge Nin introduced. He is a man who has blue eyes with a darker ripple around the pupil, waist-length green hair with the top two bangs falling down on his cheeks on each side, and having dark, full lips. In his hands is a pair of swords, each with slim and straight double-edged blades. Both blades also have an upward curved bladed prong near the tip of one side of the blade and another one near the base of the blade's other side. At their bases are smooth brown hilts with a round gray hilt. Say, what's your name, kid? Raiga, the Thunder of the Mist, asked as he pointed his blade toward Naruto with full interest. Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto answered, even though the missing nin is standing there lazily, but being aware of the name and the swords, Naruto has to be cautious for each action he is about to take around the Rouge Nin. A blonde Uzumaki. That's rare. You don't seem like an Uzumaki, but rather you do successfully remind me of one man, a person, a very powerful and prideful person. Raiga stated, but suddenly he disappeared, and appeared just beside Sasuke with the intent to avoid combat with Naruto and went straight forward to Zuna. Team 7. Protect the client. Naruto yelled once more. As he had expected, the rogue nin target was Tazuna and he would of course try to avoid any battle with him. When the moment Raiga rushed toward Tazuna, a mud wall was immediately raised in front of Tazuna, and it is coming from the seal tag Naruto has put around Tazuna before the fight. And soon after one mud wall was raised up, 3 other walls were also raised up from the ground protecting Team 7 and Tazuna. Wind style. Wind blade. Naruto exclaimed, and his kunai was being covered in a layer of wind. In the elements, wind can beat lightning, but in the case of Naruto, his kunai can barely counter against the Kiba blade. Clank. TCH, you surely look like a man that I fight before. The yellow flash and hero of Konoha Namikaze Minato. Raiga said as he pushed Naruto's kunai back and began to exchange blows with him. While Naruto has practiced kenjutsu before, his standard in sword art still has some gap between a true 7-sword man of the mist. Clank, clank, clank. You fight with your spirit, but Raiga said while pushing the blonde backward as his speed is still faster than the blonde and forced the blonde to be on the defensive. With an upward slash, Naruto's wind blade was being cut in half. Seizing this opportunity, Raiga raised his left leg and delivered a powerful kick toward Naruto's abdomen and sent him flying a short distance. TCH. But just when Naruto regains his balance and tries to fight again, the Kiba blades that cloak with lightning has already pointed toward his eye, and with one more inch it will stab into Naruto's eye. You provide a good fight, however you are still too young to challenge a true sword man. Raiga stated coldly as he pointed his blade toward the blonde and kept him in place. But you do remind me of that person who also set me free after I lost in the battle. I don't know whether he is related to you or not, but think this is me paying the debt I owe him in the second war. Raiga said before retreated his blades. Until next time, brat. Raiga. Naruto yelled as he quickly took out another kunai and cloaked it with wind element again while trying to cut toward Raiga, only to have Raiga to dissolve into water as he had already shunshin away and replaced it with a water clone. Wind style. Great breakthrough! Exclaimed a feminine voice as a large wind blade was created and blew off the mist that covered the battlefield. And now the crimson-haired Uzumaki is trying her best to fight the monster of the mist while in the meantime locate Itachi. The battle between her and Kisame can only be described as a fair fight, as Kushina has more agility while Kisame has more strength, so both of them weren't able to defeat each other soon. As for Kakashi, he just charged up a lighting blade and rushed toward Zabuza, but suddenly Itachi appeared beside Kakashi while in his Susanoo form and knocked him into the lake. Water style. Water prison. Zabuza exclaimed, and immediately Kakashi was covered up by water and held in it, unable to move, and had Zabuza create one clone to maintain the jutsu. Now it just left one more. Zabuza said with a shark-like grin, as he dashed toward Kushina, who was still fighting against Kisame. Ka-sama. The boy roared as he directly rushed toward the battlefield without any second thought. Currently his mind only filled one thought: now protect his mother. What do you think can be achieved by yourself? Zabuza asked with a chuckle before he joined in attacking Kushina, but was stopped as he saw the blonde rush toward him and swing his blade toward the blonde. Lightning blade. Naruto exclaimed. With the power of his Sharingan he has successfully copied the hand sign of Kakashi's lightning blade and applied it onto his kunai. What? Slash. In a blink of an eye the Kubikiribocho was being cut in half, and the attack didn't stop there as Naruto slashed up a big cut onto Zabuza's chest and caused the said sword man to cough out blood. What have you done? Kisame yelled in panic as he quickly pushed back Kushina's sword and prepared to counter the lightning blade, but he made a mistake by looking into Naruto's eyes and being frozen in place. Sharingan. With just only blank for several seconds, Kushina quickly uses this opportunity to slash upward and aim to cut down Kisame's head, and Naruto also has his lightning blade aiming toward Kisame's heart. Susanoo. But in the last moment a crimson giant skull appears before Kisame and deflect both blades. Fire release. Great fireball. Itachi exclaimed as he cast out a giant fireball, acting quick. Water release. Water dragon bullet. Exclaimed both Uzumaki as they put out the fire, but during that time Itachi had already brought Kisame with him and shunshin away. Kushina, are you alright? Kakashi asked. Just as the water clone of Zabuza disappeared he managed to break free quickly, but when he appeared onto the bridge again, he just saw a figure with Mizu's Hunter Nin mask had carried Zabuza and shunshin away. I am okay, how about you, Naru-chan? Kushina asked as Naruto quickly deactivated his Sharingan before turning to face the copy ninja. Yes, I am fine. We should really get going now. Whose knows will there be any more reinforcement or not? Kakashi suggested and received nods from both Naruto and Kushina as they quickly walked toward the client and the genins of Team 7. And, of course, the genins of Team 7 are all angry toward the blonde as the sudden rise up of the mud wall causes some of the mud to stain onto their shirt. Later. Knock. Knock. Yes. After the teams reached Waven sooner, they reached Tazuna's house while the entire way Naruto was looking around at the island, and it was almost still the same, but now the situation here is more critical. There are many houses or shops being destroyed, and the teams also spotted several thugs here and there. After Tazuna knocks on the door, a woman who looked to be around the age of Kushina comes to greet them, and when she sees her dad is safe, she quickly lunges forward and hugs the old bridge builder tightly. Thank God you're safe, Tsu-sama. Tsunami exclaimed happily while hugging her father tightly. Tsunami-chan, long time no see. Kushina greeted nicely as the said woman let go of her father and looked toward Kushina. Kushina-sama, and that must be Naruto-kun, good to see you guys again. Tazuna house. Later. Tazuna's house is a small house outside of the city with most of it being surrounded by water and someone living in an economically struggling country. Not having a lot of money, Tazuna still able to uses all his knowledge to build up an amazing house as it was surrounded by water, which without doubt would be an amazing view at night. After showing the rooms for both teams, all teams are now gathering at the living room. As for Tsunami, she had been really hospitable to them, especially after she saw Kushina and Naruto again because they have been away from Wave for 4 years. When at dinner time, Kushina had offered her help at the kitchen and she saw that Tazuna's family didn't really have a lot of food in his house, and if they really all eat here tonight all the food will eaten finished within a month, so she quickly decided to go out and hunt some animal for her and Naruto. Although Tsunami insists them to stay and told her that they have enough food supplies, but still being turned down by Kushina as she don't want to bring any difficult to Tsunami. Forest. An hour later. Naru-chan, are you sure you are enough already? There are still pretty more fishes if you want. I think I am good, thanks Ka-sama. The blonde replied as he sits on the log silently while hunting, and surviving in the forest should be a tough job for almost every normal person, but for shinobi and with someone who has almost perfect control on water element, it is quite easy for Kushina and Naruto to catch fishes without any problem. Find more to me then. Kushina said while trying to convince Naruto to have more fishes, but when she glanced towards Naruto, she didn't get a response from him and saw that he was busy looking at the stars while in deep thought. This makes Kushina frown. Is her son being troubled by something? Why did he choose not to tell her? Thinking quickly, Kushina suddenly found out that they are in the forest and that left only 2 of them, and now it is like a perfect time to catch her Naru-chan off guard and reward him for his action on the bridge. With that, a small teasing smile quickly spread on her face. Softly put down her food and quietly sneaked up behind Naruto before she suddenly surprised him when she cupped his cover crotch. Ka-sama. Naruto yelled out as he was being caught completely off guard and his brain was still trying to catch up with what was happening right now. Seeing that her move success, Kushina softly presses her clothed against Naruto's back and has her hand grabbing his crotch. Immediately she feels his penis become rock hard under the trousers. Looks like someone is quite hard already, teased Kushina while whispering beside Naruto's ears and blowing some hot air into it. But just when Naruto wanted to turn his head to deny it, he was surprised by Kushina as she placed her lips against his and softly she inserted her own tongue into Naruto's mouth and their kiss turned into a hot makeout. After kissing for about 30 minutes, Kushina decided to pull back for oxygen and has a string of saliva while still has her hand on his crotch while smiling seductively to her son. You did well today, Naru-chan, so you deserve a nice reward today, said Kushina as she slowly zipped down her Jonin vest and threw it to the side and also gave Naruto a striptease while slowly pulled up her black shirt and her black sport bra over her head. Under the moonlight it gave Kushina a different kind of beauty, as now standing in front of the blonde isn't like a human anymore but like a beautiful goddess from moon, as she has her firm DD jiggle a bit, and at the moment Naruto can only describe them as prefect. Come here, Naru-chan. Signal Kushina seductively, like his whole soul was being controlled by the goddess. Naruto unconsciously moved toward Kushina. Come Naru-chan, claim your reward, said Kushina as she slowly laid herself down onto the grass on her back, as without any second thought Naruto hungrily got on top of the goddess and stated to lick, suck and play with her. As Naruto squeezed and bounced her left forcefully while sucking greedily on her right nipple and drawing circles around the pink tip with his tongue while pulling it sometimes. Not so rough, moaned the beautiful Kushina as she leaned her head back onto the grass and just enjoyed the pleasure she felt from Naruto sucking on her erect nipples for a while, and for Naruto he decided to continue to suckle on both her nipples, switching from one to the other. He sucked on them gently and roughly while also occasionally pinching her nipples, and he showed no signs of wanting to stop anytime soon, as he also left a few kisses on her. But when Naruto had bitten onto her right nipple and was about to pull it with his teeth, Kushina softly touched his chest to stop him. "Naru-chan, that was amazing, but I don't want to be the only one receiving pleasure. Now let me serve you." Whispering Kushina gently and slowly, she pushes Naruto backward and instructs him to sit on the log before she crawls toward him and slowly unbutton his pants and pull them down along with his boxers. And when Naruto's penis being revealed, Kushina has all her blood gathered up onto her face. "Oh my god. Naru-chan's." In front of Kushina is a proud erect penis, as this is also the first time Kushina sees a penis, so she timidly inspecting its color and veins while wondering how to make it feels good. Slowly bringing her shaking left hand up, Kushina gathered up all her courage as she softly grabbed onto and felt a little surprise when it throbbed at her touch. As for Naruto, he gave a grunt when Kushina held his penis in her hand, and remembering the teaching from a medical book, Kushina slowly pulled down the foreskin and revealed the pink tip with a little bit of precum. Gently and softly Kushina began to stroke Naruto's a few times. "Ka-sama." Naruto moaned out loudly, as this also makes Kushina feels happy. After stroking for few more times, Kushina decided to give more pleasure to Naruto as she suddenly stop, and this bring confusion to Naruto, but the next thing she do. "Ka-sa." Kushina softly pressed her soft against Naruto's erection and had his rod disappear in between her twins and could only see his tip poking up in between the soft twins. Just the soft and indescribable pleasure almost made Naruto to release his load. "Ka-sama. I am going to," warned Naruto. After Kushina pushed her against his few more times, Naruto suddenly released her cum, and the amount of sperm Naruto shot had its stain on Kushina's face and her. As for Kushina, she felt every single shot from the nestled between her tits, and a few white spurts shot up and landed atop of her tits and face. When Kushina released her and they opened up, she saw a sticky mess with few semen strings connecting to Naruto's now flaccid. What a large amount you have spray out, Naru-chan. After cleaning. Now, Naru-chan, do you have anything you want to talk to me about? Kushina asks nicely as she takes a seat beside Naruto and turns to look at him. "It's nothing. Ka-sama. Naru-chan, please, I have been with you for your whole life. I know there is something troubling you and I wish to help you with it." Kushina comforts as she tries to persuade Naruto to tell her the truth. "Well, it nothing, Ka-sama," Naruto said before he stands up from the log. "I am going to take a walk. Ka-sama, please head back to Tazuna Gigi house first. I will see you later." Naru. After the small event, Naruto decided to take a walk alone. While this may have confused Kushina, as this is the first time Naruto didn't want her to come along, but she can only agree with him as he is very sure about it and telling her that he needs some space for a while. After she remind him to be careful, before watching her son walks into the deeper part of the forest, Kushina can't stop worrying about her son but decided to lesser a bit of her worry as she thinks that maybe Naruto has faces some personal problem in his puberty and really needs some space for his own. Beside the lake. For Naruto, you remind me of a person, the yellow flash Namikaze Minato. Is he telling the truth? That I look a lot like the fourth Hokage? Thought Naruto as he begins to remember the looks on her mother when he asked about the history of the fourth Hokage and also the appearance of the fourth Hokage. Ocean blue eyes, blonde hair, that's the similarity I share with the fourth. But if the fourth really is my father, who did I inherit my Sharingan from? While Naruto is deep in his thoughts, he is not aware that a pair of crimson eyes are quietly watching from the tree beside the forest. Nah. Quote question mark exclamation mark. Wah. The sudden appearance of a large group of crows rushing out from the right side of the path knocks the unprepared genin onto the forest floor. "We meet again, Naruto-kun," said a voice just as the group of crows disappeared. "Itachi," Naruto exclaimed, seeing the man that stands on the tree, and quickly pulled out his kunai to fight. It seems you have grown stronger and looks more similar to your father. What about my father? I have no father. Naruto yelled furiously, but, in his heart, when the word, father, was being spoken, it immediately caught his attention. Nonsense, Naruto-kun, I knew your father and I used to learn from him. Itachi said without changing his expression. And I also knew who was the one gave you the Sharingan, but. The Uchiha explained, but suddenly a chakra signature appeared just right behind Naruto. You haven't truly awakened the truth power of Sharingan. Itachi said. The last thing Naruto saw before he faded was the beautiful crimson eyes of Manjiko Sharingan possessed by Itachi. This may be cruel to you, but if you want to protect those you love, you must pass this test. Naruto's mindscape. It a genjutsu, it not real. My lord, what should we do about the Jinchuriki? Extract the Kyuubi and kill her later, we don't need any survival. Said a voice just beside Naruto. Not knowing how long have he been passed out, Naruto slowly open up his eyes and tries to move his hands and legs, but found out that he can't. Begin the process. Yelled a painful and familiar voice as this caused Naruto to immediately open up his eyes and only to see there were a group of people standing around his mother while pulling out something from her stomach. Ka-sama. Oh, the dirty son of Uzumaki has awoke. Said a voice, and this caused Naruto to turn his head toward the sound only to see a man with bandage cover his right eyes, but for unknown reason Naruto can't see his face clearly. Release her. Now. Yelled Naruto furiously as he tried to break free from the chains but found out that his chakra is sealed. Don't try to escape, brat, it no uses. My lord, the extraction is complete. A man with a boar mask said and turns toward the man beside Naruto. Very well, said the man and turned to look at Naruto with a grin. Thanks to you, my boy, we have finally able to capture the Kyuubi and now has all its power under my control. Said the man before he turns toward to his Anbu and ordered him. Kill her. Naruto. I like trying to tell Naruto something. Even in her weakest state, Kushina also forces herself to smile and tries to say something, but it stops as a man with a blank mask raises his sword and brings it down toward Kushina. The source of the sound belongs to the famous demon of the mist, hissing in pain when his apprentice applied some medical ointment cream onto Zabuza's wound. Stop acting like a big baby, if you get so carried away in battle again. I will not help you next time, Zabuza-sama. The Mizu hunter nin complainant. The hunter wore a special Mizu bounty hunter on her face after finishing applied ointment onto Zabuza's wound before wrapping up some bandage around his chest. Troublesome, ouch. Please stay still, Zabuza-sama. The Mizu hunter nin said. Unlike other hunter nin whose will be more likely to be muscular build, the Zabuza apprentice has long black hair that ties up into a bun and her build is much slender than average bounty hunter. After she finishes wrapping up the bandage around Zabuza's chest, she then proceeds to cleans up her hand that is full of blood. Still acting so hot-head again, Zabuza? The Thunder of Mist asked. He just finished his negotiation with both members of Akatsuki and he was here to bring the latest update to Zabuza. He just stood beside the door and had his famous blade's kiba strapped on his waist. TCH. You are not better than Miraiga. You have let your target escape when he was just being protected by several brats. Zabuza mocked with a smirk, with the said Thunder of Mist just shaked his head in reply. Whatever. Raiga replied lazily and took a seat on the floor with his eyes closed while leaning his back on the cave wall. Please be careful next time, Zabuza-sama. It is very fortunate that the lightning slash didn't cause any deep wounds on you. The masked hunter nin warned and finished wrapping up all the bandages on Zabuza. You worry too much, girl. I am the demon of mist, there is never deaf. Zabuza said proudly. His title of the demon was earned during the war and it's truth that he rarely lose, but before he can continue to show off, his speech was interrupted when. If you rush out battle without a full plan next time, I will leave yourself at there, Zabuza-sama. The girl warned with an ice needle struck on the wall behind Zabuza with only a few inches closer the needle will hit Zabuza's forehead. Wow. Chill out girl. The thunder of the mist said after he heard the sound of something struck on the wall. His first thought was some kind of ambush attack and had his thunder blades tightly grab in his hand only to find it was not an enemy attack. Not very helpful here Raiga. Anyway, how long will I be able to wield my sword again, Haku? About several weeks Zabuza-sama. The cut has injured your lungs and almost reached your heart. The now known Haku replied, before she put down her mask and revealed her beautiful face. The word beautiful or gorgeous may be the words that fit her the most. She has a pair of beautiful black eyes and skin that can compare to the beautiful first snow in the winter. Raiga-san, I am going out to pick some herbs for Zabuza-sama. Can you please help me take care of Zabuza-sama for a while? Sure. Babysitting the demon shouldn't be too hard. Raiga replied, but he also quickly ducked to the right, as the giant sword Kubikiribocho was being thrown towards him and stuck on the wall while what followed was the coughing sound of Zabuza. Sigh. Just be careful, okay? Haku advises with a sigh before she walks into the deeper part of the cave to change. After she changed to her pink kimono, the girl then proceeded to head out even though she knew it was possible that both her master and Raiga might try to bite each other's head off. She can just hope that maybe she worries too much, best not to think about it for now. I will be heading out now, please be careful Zabuza-sama. The girl said before forming a simple seal after she stepped out of the cave, covering the safe with a simple illusion. Tell me Raiga, why did you let go of your target? The demon asked after Haku went out. Straight to the point huh? The thunder of mist replied. Zabuza, do you believe the fourth Hokage has a son? Back to Haku. It is now in the morning and usually there isn't anyone in the forest at such time. Thus Haku didn't take much weapon with her and just bought a basket that has 2 kunai in it, slowly walks toward the lake area as there are some medical herbs she needs. During her walks toward the lake side, birds and small animals can be seen very often. It is just like they are not afraid of the girl and wish to stay close to her. But today is destined to be an unusual day. When Haku reached the lake side she was surprised that she was not alone. She saw a blonde teenager laying on the forest floor like he was in deep sleep. Why did anyone choose such a place to rest at night? Wait. Was the thought of Haku when she saw the boy. After she decided to walk closer for a close inspection of the blonde boy, she was surprised to find out that in front of her is the boy that injured Zabuza-sama. He might be a threat to Zabuza-sama. Haku thought, quietly and steadily, forming an ice needle from the wet grassland and preparing to deliver a fatal blow to the boy and probably kill him while he was sleeping. But when Haku prepares to strike, her hands begin to shake furiously. As silly it may seem for a rogue nin to be scared of killing, but for Haku's case the death of her family has created an unrepairable nightmare to her. The death of her parents in front of her, their last words, their blood has caused too much harm to young Haku mental. She still couldn't walk out from her past. The eyes of her parents' murder had keep hunting Haku until now. Why can't I? Haku thought as she began to fight with her own soul, and finally she gave up and dissolved her ice needle back to water and had it splash over the grassland. Excuse me sir, you are resting on the herbs I need. Haku said gently and gently shakes on Naruto's arms. But suddenly the boy's eyes snapped open and he quickly lunged toward the surprised Haku, pinning her onto the forest floor while has his hand choking her throat. Die. 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 Why did you kill her? Naruto roared angrily. The nightmare Itachi brought on him has caused him too much suffering. In that moment his Sharingan changes into Mangekyo with blood tears running down his eyes. Wait. Please. Haku mumble out weakly as her strength isn't as strong as the blonde while she is trying her best to push away the blonde. After he heard the soft and gentle voice of a female, Naruto almost instantly snapped back to reality and he quickly looks around his surrounding only to surprise that he is trying to choke a girl. What? I am sorry. Naruto exclaimed rather panic, as he quickly moved away and pulled the girl up. I am sorry, miss. I am so sorry. Naruto apologized quickly and softly patted on the girl's back to help her to regain her breath. 5 minutes later. Naruto has just been through hell for the past several hours, watching the one he cares the most being tortured, kill again and again cause him almost losing his mind, but just when he was in the urge of breaking down, a soft and gentle voice ended his nightmares and bring him back to the world. And now in front of him is a beautiful girl with long black hair that reaches her back, pale skin and large dark brown eyes. She wore a pink sleeveless kimono with pale red edges that shows her slender frame, and most importantly she has a very beautiful and gorgeous look. I am so sorry about. The blonde apologized once more but was stopped by the girl. It's okay. Haku replied as she moved closer to Naruto and put her hand onto Naruto's forehead. This made Naruto's face heated up quickly, as the close contact with the girl has made him smell of her fragrance while has the girl's pink lips just in front of him several inches. You are not having a fever. Were you having a nightmare, Shinobi-san? Haku asked, even though she knew the boy in front of her is an enemy, but her role as a medic made her worry for the blonde too. Beautiful. Naruto mumbled out as his mind was being carried away by the previous contact with the girl, and this clearly took Haku by surprise, as this is the first time she was ever being complimented by a boy and has a little pink on her cheeks. Thank you, Shinobi-san. Haku whispers, as she gives a smile to Naruto, which also brings the said blonde back to reality again and makes him blush harder while having all the nightmare from Itachi illusion being thrown away. So, what are you doing out here all by yourself, miss? Naruto asked as he nervously offers his hand and pulls Haku up. Hey. Is it not polite not to introduce yourself first, you know? Haku complained in a joking tone together with a playful smile and accepted the offer, letting Naruto pull her up. Oh right. My name is Uzumaki Naruto and I am a shinobi from Konoha. And what is your name, beauty? Cut it off, I am not a beauty. My name is Haku, no last name, and I am just a civilian from Wave. Haku replied while her cheeks turned rosy pink. And I am here to pick up some herbs for my precious one, as Gato's thugs have been running in the town for months, there isn't any medical supply available in Wave right now. The girl explained politely before she kneels down and start picking up herbs. Gato, that bastard. Hey, how about I help you out? It will be very rude for just leaving you to do all this work by yourself. Naruto suggested, as he kneels down beside Haku, who is surprised that the blonde will help her to pick up the herbs. Thanks, Naruto-san, but you might need to throw away the plant you are holding right now, as it is a type of poison grass. Haku said, and this caused the blonde to panic, immediately throw the plant away and have the girl giggle in reply. An hour later. Thank you for your generous help, Naruto-san. Nah. You are welcome, Haku-san. With the chan words almost slipping out of his mouth, Naruto immediately changes the word at the last minute and has his and Haku's cheeks to blush. Well, I don't mind if you refer to me as Chan. Haku whisper quietly before she picks up the basket. Thanks again, Naruto-san, I will be going then. Haku bid farewell to Naruto, as she turns around, but just after she took several steps she heard Naruto. Will we meet again, Haku-chan? Naruto asked. He was also nervous and excited about the answer. We probably will. Bye, Naruto-kun. Haku replied as she gave Naruto a polite smile before walking into the deeper of the forest and leaving Naruto alone standing at his place. Why did I feel that I don't want her to leave? Was the thought of Naruto, as this girl Haku gave him the same feeling of his mother when she said she loves him, but it is kinda different from Kushina, as both of them have totally different personality. Kushina has a very active personal while Haku give him a feel of peace and gentle. I should probably head back now. To Zuna's house. Half an hour later. Knock, knock. I am back. Naru-chan. Just when Naruto opens the door, a crimson-haired Uzumaki who has been worrying sick about her son immediately lunges toward him and hugs him tightly. Where have you been all night? Do you know how worried I am? Ka-sama. With shaky hands, after being through the horrible nightmare for all night long, the blonde gently hugs Kushina and confirms once more that in front of him is his beloved mother, alive and warm. Thank God. The blonde whispers quietly as he is glad that she is safe and sound. Without saying a word to each other, both mother and son quietly enjoy the embrace of each other for several minutes before they let go of each other. Naru-chan. Seriously, where have you been last night? I have been worry sick for whole night. Ka-sama, I rather not talk about it. Naruto answered as he really doesn't want to recall the horrible memory of last night. The blonde chooses to hide the truth for once, even though he told her that he met Itachi last night. It will only get her to be more worried. Okay then. But if you have anything to tell me, I will gladly listen to you. Kushina replied. She then wipes away her tears and calms herself a bit before she puts up a big smile. Alright then, Naru-chan, let's begin our training today. Training. You aren't possibly thinking that I will allow you to be lazy, Naru-chan. Since you are back, let's begin our training right away then. The crimson-haired Uzumaki woman said, and without giving any chances for her son to complain, she then dragged Naruto into the forest despite the blonde protest about the training. 10 minutes later. Forest. Okay. I think we are far enough. Kushina said. After walking for 10 minutes, both Uzumaki stop at a small clearing inside the forest and have Kushina inspect the surroundings. Ka-sama, why do you lead me into the forest? I thought just behind Tazuna Gigi house there was a big clearing. Well, for your information, Naru-chan, before Tsunami-san went out this morning, Kakashi has informed his team to gather there for tree walking or other training, if I am not mistaken. Besides, I can't let the so-called copy ninja copy any of my awesome teaching, right? Naru-chan. And you don't want anyone to find out your reward, right? The beautiful Uzumaki teased with a wink and a seductive smile. As for today, I will teach you this. Kushina said and lent out her hand. Within the first few seconds, Naruto was confused as nothing happened, but slowly he can feel the wind gather on Kushina's palm and begin to spin in a direction, and it forms into a blue color spiral ball. This, Naru-chan, is the masterpiece of the fourth Hokage, the Rasengan. It does not need complex hand seals to perform it, thus it is very efficient during a battle, as you can just form it immediately after you master it. And for how much damage can it cause? Kushina explained as she walked to a tree and slammed the spiraling sphere onto the tree trunk. Almost instantly there was a large amount of wood pieces sent flying, and the trunk where the Rasengan hit was being replaced by a large hole. About this much, Kushina said as she turned around before the tree fell down, resulting in a large amount of dust being blown off. Cool. Looking at what was left for the tree, Naruto was quite surprised and astounded with the result that a simple small chakra ball can bring. I know. It is cool, right? How about we begin our lesson for today, Naru-chan? Kushina asked as she clapped her hand to gain Naruto's attention. First of all, I will teach you about the basic knowledge of Rasengan. As I just taught you, Rasengan doesn't require any hand seals, but it will require extremely refined chakra control, which you have after walking on waterfall, something that very few shinobi naturally possess. For this reason, the fourth Hokage broken the steps of learning Rasengan into 3 steps: rotation, power and containment. As for today, I am going to teach you about rotation only. Once you master the rotation, I will teach you the power required to form Rasengan. Is that clear? Yes, sensei. The blonde answered almost instantly as he was excited to learn the awesome jutsu. Good. For rotation you must first learn how to spin your chakra in multiple directions at once. To be more simplified, catch. Kushina explained as she took out a water balloon from her Jonin vessel's pocket and threw it to Naruto. As to help you marking your progress of rotation, the balloon can help you with that, as it is filled with water and your goal is to spin the water in several directions until the balloon burst completely. As for the reward for mastering this technique, Kushina said in a teasing tone as she slowly walked to a tree while swaying her left and right until she disappeared behind the tree, making sure that Naru-chan can't see her from his position. Kushina quickly pulled down her black slim yoga pants. This is embarrassing, but it all for Naruto. Kushina thought with a bit of nervousness as her hands reached the hem of her black lace panties as she quickly pulled it down and took it off. As soon as she put back her yoga pants, calming herself enough, Kushina then made her way towards Naruto while having the blonde attention all on her. Right. As I promise. If you master this exercise within this week, you will get to keep this, and if you fail, I will just take it back. The crimson hair Uzumaki said while trying her best to stay calm before bringing her arm forward and show Naruto his prize for succeeding in this training. Wow. That's surely something I will keep forever. Thanks, sensei, exclaimed the happy teenager as he snatched Kushina black lace panties from her and inspected them closer and realized that it was still warm. Ka-sama. Did you just take it off? Alright, let's begin the training. Too embarrassed to answer the question, the crimson hair Uzumaki quickly changed the topic as she was almost being covered by embarrassment, and not to mention she almost reached her limit before her mind went completely blank. Taking out another balloon from her pocket, she quickly explains how to burst the balloon before Shunshin to a nearby tree, leaving Naruto alone at the clearing. Stupid, 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 were all the thoughts in Kushina's head as her face is now the same color as her hair, just like a red tomato with some smoke coming out from her ears while she has her hands covering her face. Why did I give him my arg? Thought Kushina, but then she saw Naruto hold on her panties tightly in his hand, after taking another staring at her panties for a while. With his face blushing, the blonde then decided to put it into his pocket before he stated to train. At least Naru-chan likes his reward. Several hours later. It is now evening and from Team 9 went into the forest until now, 8 hours has passed. Sitting on one of the branches, Kushina quietly enjoying her free time for reading a short novel, Icha Paradise, where she gets all her ideas of rewards from, with sometimes her face is blushing and several times she almost throws the book away or just try destroy it, but after reconsider back and forth she still need the book to improve the bonds between her and her precious Naru-chan. Pak! I did it! Exclaimed an excited blonde as this caught Kushina's attention. Just when she tried the 10th time throwing the book away, and decided to check on the result, Kushina kept the book in the pocket into her Jonin vessel before Shunshin to Naruto. Ka-sama! I did it! Naruto exclaimed happily as he showed Kushina his training result. Naru-chan. This normally will take at least a week to do it, and you are telling me that you managed to learn the first step within a day? Kushina asked with surprise as she recalled her training with Minato, the creator of this jutsu. She herself took at least 5 days to master this technique. Well, just give me another water balloon, Ka-sama, I will show you. The blonde said with excitement and had Kushina pass a water balloon to Naruto. Just like what Naruto said just after he concentrated for several seconds, the balloon exploded. Incredible. Incredible, Naru-chan. Now it was the turns that Kushina gets very excited as she pulls her Naru-chan into her embrace and hugs him tightly while pressing her on his chest. I am so proud of you, Naru-chan, Kushina said as she placed several kisses on Naruto's cheek and made the blonde blush a bit. Now let's head back, shall we? Naru-chan. Halfway back to Tazuna's house. What do you want for dinner, Naru-chan? Kushina asked Naruto as they were on their way back to the house. With the success in Naruto's training, Kushina's doubts and worries for her Naru-chan may be hiding something from her were all gone now. Well, maybe fish. But just when they both took another step forward, there was a person standing on the tree that was not far from them, quietly inspecting the Uzumakis like a hunter. Almost in the same time, both Uzumaki have also sent the chakra signature and caused them to half. With both of their shinobi instincts kicked in, Kushina quickly gave Naruto hand signs, ordered him to go left side and she will go right and meet up at the person's location. Giving a nod, Naruto pulls out his kunai while Kushina pulls out her sword slowly and carefully. Both shinobi creep softly to the person's location. Now, Kushina exclaimed after both of them were in position, and almost instantly Naruto appeared just in front of the man with his kunai cloak in the wind element, and Kushina appeared just behind, cutting the person's head in the same time. Unexpectedly, the man exploded into crows and took form again on the tree. "We meet again, Naruto-kun. You." The blonde hissed with anger as the person in front of him is the person that he less wishes to see now, Uchiha Itachi. "I am not here to fight but to inform you something," Itachi said as he exploded into crows again just after Naruto's wind-cloaked chakra kunai was once again thrown toward him. "What do you want, Itachi?" Kushina asked. She was almost ready to go into her tail beast form, but the next thing Itachi said almost caused her heart to stop beating. "Why did you choose to hide the truth from him, Kushina-san?" was the simple question of Itachi, but Kushina's face turned all white. "You do remember, right? Along with you I was the several presented family members when the marriage ceremony took place," questioned Itachi as Kushina can't think of anything to answer the question. Don't listen to him, Ka-sama," Naruto yelled loudly and brought Kushina back to reality again. "I wouldn't let you hurt Ka-sama. Not this time." The blonde hissed in anger and activated his Sharingan before turning into Mangekyo, inspecting every move Itachi took. Seems like you have successfully unlocked the Mangekyo, Naruto-kun," Itachi said with a stoic face, as he looked at Naruto's Mangekyo, which is like a three-edges shuriken with the blades all linked together into a circle. "I have finished my mission at here then, I will see you in the future, Naruto-kun," Itachi said, without giving any chances for both Naruto and Kushina to make any action. His body once again exploded into crows and fly away. "Damn it!" Naruto yelled furiously, but for Kushina, she was in deep thought and had worry fill her mind. Tazuna's house. After dinner, the sky had darkened and moonlight was illuminating the night sky with silence covering the small island, indicating that most people were sleeping now. Same could be said for Tazuna's house, as everyone has a busy day, but for our crimson hair Uzumaki, it was another story. Sitting alone in the living room, Kushina was still up drinking to her heart's content. She had hazy eyes and red cheeks, clear evidence that she had been drinking for a while. It was quite ironic really that for an island with so little food, alcohol seemed to be available in abundance. After dinner, Kushina decided to stay up and had been drinking to forget about what Itachi said in the woods. Sure, she didn't regret her action, as all she had done was to protect Naruto, and it was the last wish that Miko Ne-chan wanted her to protect Naruto from the mysterious villain that was responsible for Minato's death. At first, taking care of Naruto is just simply to honor the last wish of her family figure, but after taking care and watching Naruto grow up, she slowly forgets how much Naruto has been affecting her emotions from the baby to now the almost perfect hero she wishes to marry to. She knew that she would need to tell Naruto about his true heritage one day, but what will happen between them afterward? Will he be hating her and never want to see her again? Or will he run away and leave her alone and empty in this world again? He hates me. Kushina mumbled with tears running down her eyes and has her head lay on the table while mumbling and crying softly. Ka-sama. Seeing that his mother still isn't in the bedroom, Naruto decided to look for her just in case she meets some trouble. Naruto-chan. Kushina mumbled out from the living room, which caught Naruto's attention. Ka-sama. Have you been drinking for the whole night? The blonde asked as he saw the several empty bottles that laid on the floor. Drinking? No, I haven't drank. Kushina replied with her mind complete a mess. Let's get you back to the room first, Ka-sama. Naruto suggested and carried Kushina in bridal style while having her hands automatically land over his shoulder and accidentally show her cleavage to Naruto, showing that she isn't wearing a bra underneath her shirt. Naru-chan. Alright, I am here. Naruto replied as he opens the door before softly puts Kushina onto her tatami bed, but when he was going to close the door, Kushina suddenly pulls on his leg. Don't leave me, Naru-chan. Please. Kushina whispers as she holds on to Naruto's right leg with her dear life. Ka-sama. After closing the door, Naruto softly kneels down beside Kushina and pulls her hair that was covering her face to the side and is surprised that she has tear marks. Ka-sama, what happened? Please don't leave me, Naru-chan. Kushina mumbles as she lunges toward Naruto and tackles him onto his tatami bed. Please. I won't leave you, Ka-sama, not in a million years. Naruto answered, and this caught Kushina's attention and he looked at Naruto's face. Really? I promise, I love you, Ka-sama. The blonde assures, as he pulls Kushina into his embrace. In that moment Kushina was being filled by joy and happiness, and all her negative thoughts all disappear at that moment. Even when she is in her drunken state, she still smiles happily. Naru-chan. Kushina whispers as she gently pushes Naruto backward and stands up before falling down on her tatami bed. I love you too. The Uzumaki replied as in sitting position she lightly touched her own thigh and slowly traced upwards towards her clothed crotch. After a few gentle caresses she cupped her still covered cunt before she stuck 2 fingers of her other hand into her mouth to stop herself from moaning out loud. Ka-sama, please look at me, Naru-chan. Kushina moaned as she brought both her hands up and grabbed both of her through her t-shirt and stated to squeeze them. Slowly tracing upward, Kushina had both her hands on her tits while rubbing them and pinching her hardened nipples with her thumb and index finger as she licked her lips. She slowly moved both her hands down her sides until she could cup her own tight with heavy breath. Do you like what you see? Asked Kushina as she reached the bottom of her shirt and pulled it up, letting her jiggle to display for the boy, not the man she loved. Do you love me, Naru-chan? Kushina asked as she then proceeded to pulls down her pants, and now left only with her white lace panties, Kushina crawled toward Naruto. Touch me, Naru-chan. Moan out Kushina as she then directs Naruto's hands onto her while enjoying the hands of her lover that squeezing and pulling on her nipples. Ah, Naru, ah, chan. Kushina continued to moan out as she then grabs Naruto's hand and slowly bring it south until it reaches her clothed holy place and has his hand softly brush through it before bringing it up and kisses his hand. I want you, Naru-chan. Kushina said as she let go of Naruto's hand and went for the hem of her panties and decided to pull it down. Ka-sama, but was being stopped by Naruto grabbing her hands. Why? Why, Naru-chan? Don't you want me? Asked Kushina in a sobbing voice. Is not that Ka-sama? Said the blonde as he pulls Kushina into his embrace and hugs her tightly. I love you. And I do want you, but not now, not when you are clearly not in your clear mind. The blonde answered, I wish to have you. When you are willing to do it with me. When we can both enjoy the pleasure. Said the blonde while hugging Kushina, who has the Uzumaki to smile happily and hugs tightly on Naruto. I love you, Naru-chan. Been 2 weeks since Kushina got drunk and finally knew how Naruto thought about her. Of course, knowing that the boy or the soon-to-be man she loves also has the same feeling toward her makes all Kushina's worries disappear. Although, the next morning, Naruto, who got up first, was faced with a heavy blushing Kushina. After the Uzumaki finally recalled all the things she said and did in the previous night, she went completely overloaded and locked herself in the room for the whole morning. During the last week, Naruto has also mastered the second step of Rasengan, which is very impressive. As for Kushina herself, it took her almost a month to learn the first and second step of the Rasengan. Or maybe it is because Naruto is the son of the person who invented Rasengan, thus making him excel in this jutsu too. Not to mention also in the previous 2 weeks, Naruto would go out every morning only to meet with the beautiful and caring black-haired girl Haku, who always came to the same exact spot to pick up herbs for her precious people. For Haku herself, She enjoys Naruto's company very much, and often both of them would just enjoy each other's company silently after Naruto helped the black-hair beauty to gather up enough herbs that she needs. Lakeside. So Naruto-kun, how was your progress in learning the Rasengan? Asked a melody voice that belongs to Haku. Like usual, she still wears the same kind of clothing when she and Naruto first meet, which is a pink sleeveless kimono with pale red edges, while sitting on the grassland and listening to Naruto telling her about his training. Well, I have completed both stages and only left with the last step, but I have tried to master it for about a week already and I just can't find the right amount of chakra to maintain the power of it. The blonde answered as he looks at his right hand that being tied up by bandage. The previous content training with several times results of the chakra ball exploded has caused the blonde hand to be badly injured, and Kushina herself only knew a little bit about medicine, so this was the best she can do to help Naruto. Can you let me take a look at your right hand, Naruto-kun? Haku requested nicely. Raising his eyebrow in a bit of curiosity, Naruto still lent out his hand to Haku. With total trust to the girl, Naruto let the said girl untie the bandage. Naruto-kun, did the ball explode in your hand? I can only think of this explanation depending on the injuries you have. Haku asked with a frown, as she is truly worried about the injuries Naruto got, but the one who was more surprised was Naruto, as it wasn't usual that a normal civilian girl can learn about the reason behind the injury with just a look of it. Please stay still for a while now, Naruto-kun. Haku said as she then grabbed hold onto Naruto's right hand with both of her hands before closing her eyes, and a gentle green light was softly glowing on her hands. How do you feel now, Naruto-kun? Haku asked, and within a minute after Haku let go of her hands, all the wounds on Naruto's right hand were gone, just like he had never been hurt before. Wow! How did you do that? That's amazing, Haku-chan. Naruto praised the girl as he looked at his right hand with unbelievable all written over his face while having the girl to grin happily. Well, I have to learn some medical knowledge since all the doctors in Wave have been captured by Gato or escaped to other countries already. Haku explained, although this sure makes some sense to Naruto, but for a normal girl to perform such medical jutsu would need her to unlock her chakra first. As for now, Naruto decided to let it slide first, as he didn't see any point to suspect Haku, who just helped him and has been so nice to him since they met. I should take my leave now. See you tomorrow, Naruto-kun. Haku said as she then stood up, picking up the basket just lay beside her. Haku-chan. Yes. Naruto-kun. Haku asked as she turned her head to look at Naruto. Just, please be careful, okay? I heard Gato's men have been active once again, especially on capturing young lady. For Naruto, he himself also didn't know why he didn't want Haku to leave. He just doesn't know why, and thinking quickly, Naruto could only form out this sentence at the last moment. I will, and I believe even if I am in trouble you will be there for me, aren't you? Haku replied with a sweet smile that made the blonde heart pound even faster before she waved her hand to Naruto and disappeared into the forest. Haku. Forest clearing training ground of Team 9. Few hours later. Clank, clank, clank. You perform very well today, Naru-chan. Kushina praised her son as she has been practicing with Naruto in sword skills for the whole afternoon, and Naruto's sword art has improved tremendously and now he almost reaches Jonin level. Thanks, Ka-sama. Naruto replied as he proceeded to exchange blows with Kushina by using his wooden sword, before dodging an upward slash from Kushina and countering it with a left slash. Clank. Finally both shinobi rushed toward each other and clashed their wooden sword together, created a large sound of wood clashing before both of them did a backflip in the same time. Alright, I think that's all for today. Kushina said as she looked at both her and Naruto's wood swords were already filled with spider webs all over them. How did I do, sensei? Naruto asked and stabbed the wooden sword into the ground while taking out a towel to wipe his sweats. You did well. My Naru-chan, I can't believe that even with your right hand injured you can still manage to fight me so fiercely. Kushina said as she still thought Naruto's hand was injured since Naruto still has his right hand covered in white bandage, as he is afraid that his wounds haven't completely healed, but it looks like Haku's treatment is very effective. So, what do you want for your reward, Naru-chan? Kushina teased as she pushes up her that only being covered by her sport bra, which caused the blonde to stare at them with a faint blush, and knowing well that her Naru-chan is much likely obsessed with her, Kushina decided to teased her Naru-chan furthermore by doing a strip tease. Slowly, and Kushina while swaying her left and right with her jiggling at the process, Kushina slowly brought her hands toward the bottom of her bra before she turned around and pulled off her sports bra slowly and showed her bare back to Naruto. Sit down on the log, Naru-chan, ordered Kushina seductively. Immediately Naruto quickly sits down on the log and has Kushina turns over and has her hands cover up her nipples. Do you like them, Naru-chan? Teased Kushina as she places a kiss on Naruto's cheeks while still having her hands cover up her nipples. Reacting quickly, the blonde nods his head furiously and has the crimson Uzumaki to smile and let go of her hands, showing the hidden pink cherry. Why not have a taste of them? Asked Kushina as she pushed her toward Naruto's face, and without saying anything Naruto quickly lunged forward and fondled, pulling on the beautiful of Kushina's. As Naruto squeezed and bounced her left forcefully while sucking greedily on her right nipple and drawing circles around the pink tip with his tongue while pulling it sometimes. Be gentle Naru-chan. Moaned the beautiful Kushina as she enjoyed the pleasure she felt from Naruto sucking on her erect nipples for a while, and for Naruto he decided to continue to suck in exchange between both her nipples, switching from one to the other. He sucked on them gently and roughly while also occasionally pinching her nipples. Naru-chan, please take off your trousers please, said Kushina weakly and has her face blush crimson. Obeying his sensei order, Naruto quickly stands up from the log. Quickly and eagerly the blonde brings down his trousers with his boxer together and has his already erect penis standing proud in front of Kushina. My poor Naru-chan, let me take care of you, said Kushina as she slowly brought her hand up and softly grabbed onto it, feeling it throbbed at her touch. As for Naruto, he gave a grunt when Kushina held his penis in her hand and gave it a lick before Kushina slowly pulled down the foreskin. Gently and softly Kushina began to stroke Naruto's a few times. Ka-sama. Naruto moaned with him trying his best to enjoy, as this also makes Kushina feels excited. After stroking for few more times, Kushina decided to try something new that she learned from Jiraiya's books. Kushina thought as she licked her lips and calmly stated by planting a kiss on the base of the. Hope you will enjoy this, Naru-chan. With a bit of confusion Naruto looked down all and saw Kushina kiss the base of his for a few more times, and when she pressed her mouth against his hard once more she slowly opened up and her tongue slowly emerged and gently began to lick the tip of his shaft. Ka-sama. Moaned out Naruto loudly, as never in his life he felt something so hot and comfortable around his penis. As for Kushina, she slowly her tongue went lower and she licked all of Naruto's including his balls while trying to remember what was written in the book. Gently she licked back to the tip and her tongue went around his purple tip in a circular pattern before she quickly licked down the shaft once again and began planting small kisses on his. As for Naruto, he is in total ecstasy as the sensation of Kushina warm saliva covering his was amazing or super amazing. Here I go. Taking a deep breath, Kushina finally gathered up enough courage and spoke. Naruto watched how she used both her hands to swipe her pretty red hair behind her ears before she took a hold of his once again and brought her mouth closer. Naruto was holding his breath waiting for the wave of pleasure to wash over him, and then he felt it. Kushina kissed the tip of his and then she opened her mouth and pushed forwards, inviting his down her wonderfully warm wet orifice. Oh, Ka-sama, Naruto stammered as he felt Kushina sucking on his. Kushina noticed just how much pleasure Naruto was feeling and she couldn't help but chuckle and feel happy, which to Naruto felt like she was humming with his in her mouth, just increasing, propelling the feeling into the heavens. As for Kushina, she didn't really know if she did it right or not, as this is also her first time giving a blowjob, and secondly she didn't know could be so salty or some taste that she doesn't know how to describe. Slowly sucking up she moved her mouth until only the head was in her mouth, closing her lips around it. She suckled on the head until she let it go with a loud pop and quickly took it all the way down her throat again. Ka-sama. With Naruto bringing both his hands toward the back of his mom's head, encouraging her to go even deeper, and Kushina was honestly curious about trying. But because both Naruto and Kushina are first time doing this kind of thing, their little season was ending shortly after that, as Naruto almost reached his limit after Kushina licked and sucked on his several times. Ka-sama, I am going to warn Naruto, and after hearing that Kushina decided to increase her speed, she may be a little bit scared about the taste of the semen, but furthermore she is curious about the taste of it. Ka-sama, yelled Naruto as he grabbed hold onto Kushina's head and forced her to swallow his cum for several seconds before Kushina finally pulled back and opened her mouth with some semen flowing down from her mouth. That was incredible, Naru-chan, said Kushina, and yes, once again her brain went into overdrive as she doesn't know she should swallow it or just spit it out, and that's the best sentence she can manage to come out in that time. Thanks, Ka-sama, said Naruto with his face blushing and looking at the current form of Kushina, who has her hair mesh up and has his semen on her and mouth. Let's clean up, offered Kushina as she quickly picks up her clothes and went to clean up, once again leaving Naruto at the clearing with a sigh of understanding. Even he knew it kind of weird to get this kind of reward from his mom, but to say he enjoys it really much and hope that Kushina enjoys as well. After cleaning up, should we head back now? Ka-sama, Naruto asked after both of them have finished cleaning up, and has Kushina put on her Jonin vessel. Not yet, Naru-chan, today I will teach you one more thing, Kushina said with a raise of her hand, and with a sound of puff, a green scroll appeared on the forest floor. This is the map toward Gato's slave camp. I have been sending my clone into the city several times and I only get the correct location yesterday, Kushina explained as she opened up the map. And for today's final lesson, Naruto, I want you to learn the truth meaning of being a shinobi. Have your first kill, Kushina said sternly, and caused the blonde to be nervous and unconsciously swallow his saliva. Sure, he may have seen bleeding wounds many times, but to take a man's life is another thing. Let's get going then. Few hours later, Kushina moved through the forest at a fast pace with Naruto following right behind her. Today was a good day as there was less mist on the lake, and this really helped them to locate the camp, which was built just beside the lake. Naruto can't know how to describe his current emotion, as he is now nervous but a little bit excited to become a true shinobi but taking a life. We are here, Kushina said as she stopped on a branch and looked at the mark on the map her clone had placed. Apparently, her clone had found Gato has operated camp from somewhere across the river where Tazuna wanted to build a bridge, so her and Naruto had followed the mark which had led them here, and not to mention the place is quite complex as there are several abandoned mine caves with Gato's slave camp hidden among them. Softly landed before one large mine cave, both shinobi begin to analyze their surroundings with Naruto stood beside Kushina quietly. Their surrounding was just filled with rocks, just like a normal cave would be like, but with Naruto's Sharingan and Kushina's sensor ability they did spot some kind of a structure in the cave. Not having any other leads, they walked over towards the light. When they were closer, they found it a pretty expensive door, but there wasn't anyone in sight, so she just straight up tried to push open the front door, but it wouldn't budge. So, Kushina turned around to face Naruto. Behind this door lies your final test to become a shinobi. Are you ready, Naruto? Kushina asked once more, as she looked towards Naruto, and after a few seconds of arguing with his mind the blonde gave a determined nod to his mother and took out his kunai. With a smile, Kushina then proceeded to place an explosive seal on the door, and with just a moment, boom, the door was blown open. The moment they got inside, they realized that there must be a huge amount of money spent on this fortress, because the interior was lavish and beautiful with furniture, and even a chandler with several bad luck guards who just behind the door have been killed in that explosion. Not too far away there is another reinforced steel door before them. Just what kind of genius are they? Designing such stupid door that even being blast off and still wouldn't alert any guards. Kushina thought as she decided to check the reinforced door first, and found that it led downstairs into a basement, so with quietly motioning Naruto to follow, they went downstairs and found a simple wooden door with several guards guarding outside. Shadow clones! Exclaimed both Naruto and Kushina as they both created two clones of themselves, and in the next moment the guards that were being handled by Kushina were all dead while Naruto's only knocked out. Sensing there is only one life signature in the room, after Kushina made sure there weren't any alarms, giving a nod to Naruto, both of them then kicked open the wooden door. "Wahoo, are you guys?" A rather chubby man yelled in surprise, with golds and jewelries that were all over his table to be knocked down and creating the wonderful sound of coins hitting the ground. "Well, good evening to you, guards." "Guards." The man yelled, but only to find out that no one responded to his call. Do you know who I am? I am Gato's younger brother. If you hurt me, my brother won't forgive you." The chubby man threatened as he stumbled backward while trying to find a way to exit from both shinobi, and once again, thanks to the brilliant design of the cave, the only exit was the wooden door that was behind both Naruto and Kushina. "Oh, you are Gato's brother. That makes it better," Kushina said as she pulled out her sword and grabbed onto the collar of the man and slammed him onto the table forcefully. "Then you must know where is Gato, right, Mr.?" Kushina asked with a sadistic smile, unlike her normal attitude. This is the darker side of her, and also the side effect of having Kyuubi being sealed in her. I don't know where Gato is. He has so many hideouts. Arg. The man yelled in pain as Kushina pointed her sword at the man's back and slowly inserted it into his body. Wrong answer. Arg. As Kushina suddenly pulled her sword away from the man's back and stabbed his hand onto the table before moving in front of the man, pulling by his hair and force him to look at her face. "Please. I really don't know. Or do you want a young beauty that my man caught in the forest this morning?" The man asked once more and offered a prize if he was set free, but just when Kushina decided to continue her torture, Naruto suddenly grabs onto the sword and pulls him up by the collar and slam him onto the wall. "Repeat what you just said." My man just caught a black-haired girl in the forest this morning." The man answered timidly and wet his pants. Unlike Kushina, this time in front of him is a true demon with red eyes and has all his ki direct onto him. "Where is she?" "At the slave cage." The man has shit his pants and his voice was barely heard, and just after he pointed out the location, his head was being sliced off by the sword Naruto held in hand, and it was a clean slash without any hesitation in the kill. Naruto. This really shocked Kushina, as this wasn't how a person who just made his first kill to be like, without any fear or hesitation in his kill. Without saying a word after he just committed his first kill while still holding on Kushina's sword, Naruto quickly dashed out of the room. "Naruto. Wait." Kushina yelled as she quickly followed behind. Something is wrong. Something definitely wrong. She must quickly catch up to Naruto. "Be careful, Kushina. I can feel that the blonde is now being filled with pure anger. Just like every Uchiha will as they are weakest when come to emotion." Kurama was reminded through the link, but in that moment Kushina couldn't think of anything, as her only thought was how to protect her son. Wind release. Hurricane blades. Hooer arg. With the sound of an explosion occurring not far away, Kushina quickly rushed toward there. There she saw a large metal door was being destroyed by pure force. And before her is something that she didn't expect, for a yellow Susanoo with yellow color flames surrounding it, and it took the form of a humanoid figure with two flaming blades that is now brutally slaughtering any thugs near him. Those who tried to run away were being burned alive, and those who planned to fight were quickly being disposed of under the mighty sword of the Susanoo. Within minutes a total of a few hundred thugs were all being killed, and left only one that luckily escaped through the flame but was being caught by Kushina's clone. Naru-chan. Deciding to end this madness, Kushina walks into the clearing and has seals on her hand as she has prepared to use any method to make Naruto calm down. But things didn't go like last time, or as she thought. The flame that surrounded Naruto suddenly disappeared as he slowly walked toward Kushina. Naru-chan, I think this is enough for tea. But he didn't stop there. Instead he kept moving forward and toward the thug who was trying to crawl away and had his sword pointed toward his throat. Where did you guys keep Haku? Naruto demanded, and has the thug almost passed out and mumble out several words and point toward a direction. The girl was being, keep with, other slave. Mumble out the man, and like other thugs he was killed with a sword stab into his heart. Naru-chan. Just like last time after he got the answer, Naruto quickly dashed toward the direction where the thug points. After they make several turns at several narrow corridors, there in front of them is a rusty metal door. When they walked through the door, the blonde quickly noticed that the walls here were in pretty poor condition and saw some cells with around 5 people in each. And he quickly spots only one of the girls with black hair who was being kept alone in one of the cells with her hair and cloth in a mesh like she was just being violent not long before. Haku-chan. Naruto yelled and had his sword slash open that cell, quickly kneeling beside the girl who was unconscious, but when he took a closer look at the girl, he found out that this girl wasn't the girl he was worried for, but a girl that has similar appearance to Haku. Thank God. Naru-chan, asked Kushina as this alerts Naruto and looks toward Kushina. Ka-sama, we have to free them. Kushina said, and with a nod the blonde as he softly carries the girl out of the cell and put her on a table before he grabs the keys before open up all the cells and let the slaves out and have both shinobi lead them out of the cave, back to the village. Later that night, Ka-sama, Naru-chan. I need an explain, now. Didn't pay you for sitting here like a fool, you fool. A short fat man yelled angrily. The man had shaggy brown hair, a pair of small, circular black glasses which didn't quite fit his face as it only made him look even chubbier. He wears a black suit with a purple tie and closed-toed shoes, glaring angrily at the injured demon of the mist like he almost can pierce through the head of Zabuza, while has his group of bodyguards standing just behind him. My brother's hideout has been totally wiped out. And now you fools still decide to sit and wait here doing nothing. Hey, shut up, fat man, or else we will let you to deal with the Red Death and copy ninja yourself. Raiga retorted rather impatiently while he kept polishing his kiba blades without giving a care to the thug leader. If it not because of the civil war that Mizu is currently facing, he would kill the said fat man before him within 1 sec. You dare. We will and we can. Let me remind you one thing, Gato. The Red Death is one of the most skillful sword master that the world can offer. Not even thousands of your thugs can take her down. The Demon of Mist replied dryly like Raiga while laying on the couches. He also didn't give a crap about what the fat man requested. TCH. I will give more time if you agree to give me the little girl you have, and I will make decision. Gato threatened as his brain began to think about how much he will be able to gain if he got the black hair girl, for addition a beauty like her with unique bloodline will surely bring a large amount of fortune to him. Swing. Clank. Touch her, you die. With just simple words of Zabuza, almost every thug and Gato himself has their sweat streaming down their forehead. As the giant sword that a minute ago was still laying beside Zabuza was now being implanted not too far away from Gato's head. The large amount of Ki that filled the room has caused the fat businessman to fall backward, as now in front of them, they saw not only an injured man but a demon who is about to eat them. 3 days. 3 days. I will give you 3 days or get lost. Gato yelled furiously before signaling his thugs to carry him as he can't stop himself from sweating and his legs to stop trembling. Lakeside. Day before the final battle. Naruto-kun. I won't be able to meet you tomorrow. Haku whispered sullenly as she wasn't able to meet Naruto's gaze and stared into the beautiful lake with a frown on her face. What's wrong, Haku-chan? Did you have something bothering you? Despite Naruto having only met the black-hair girl for only 2 short weeks, the blonde is still able to read the girl like an open book, as Haku is just a truly innocent girl who will never lie, so he could tell that she was really upset about something. No. There's nothing. Please tell me, Haku-chan, I am really worried about you. The blonde pleads as he gently grabs onto Haku's hand. Naruto-kun. I was just glad that after this mission you will able to return to Konoha. And have a better life. Haku-chan, I know you are lying, please tell me what happened. The blonde asked once more, but this time he was truly worried, but the girl still has her face facing the opposite direction and tries to get free from Naruto's hold. It was then Haku slapped Naruto's hand away and moved further away before deciding to turn around and face Naruto. For that moment the blonde immediately knew something bad must have happened, as Haku's shoulders begin to shake and he can hear a soft sob leave her lips even if she tries her best not to. I don't want you to go tomorrow. Finally speaking out her mind also in that moment, Haku can't control her tears anymore and has her tears to stream down and leave a tear mark on her beautiful face. Haku. The blonde said as he wished to move toward Haku but was being stopped by her when she raised up her hand and signaled him not to come closer. You don't understand. Naruto-kun. I serve Zabuza-sama and I don't wish to fight you. Haku mumbled out as she tried her best not to cry out, but her voice began to shake while she tried her best not to let her emotion take over. Haku. The blonde replied without giving any chances for the girl to stop him. He took a big step forward and pulled the girl into his embrace. Without stopping himself, Naruto's arms found their ways wrapping around Haku's slim and soft form. In that moment Haku began to break down and had her face buried in his neck and her arms wrapped around him as well. Please. The girl uttered out. Don't leave me. I don't want you to die. I already lost my loved one. I can't afford to lose you as well. But even the girl pleads. Naruto knows well that he can't do that, not only for the sake of his team but for the people of Wave 2. So am I. Haku. The blonde whispered gently. I also don't want to fight you either, and I also don't want you to die, but I can't betray my team now. Not when the whole Wave country is dependent on us now. After Haku heard the answer, she suddenly pulled away from him just enough that she was looking at him. That's your answer. Huh. Very well then, Naruto-kun. Haku said, and the next thing she did was shock Naruto as Haku suddenly moved toward and captured his lips in a hard, desperate way. Good luck, Naruto-san. Haku said before she pushed Naruto away and turned around, leaving the blonde alone. For one part of her heart, she did feel proud for Naruto's kindness and honesty. It was the right thing to do after all, to protect those in need. However, another part of her felt sad and jealous as he turned down her suggestion, but she didn't blame him. She and her master are just tools, the tools that serve under the big villain. Haku-cha. Don't come forward. I hate you. Haku yelled desperately, but the truth is she can't control her emotion anymore and couldn't stop her tears streaming down her face. The word may hurt the blonde for a while, but for her, it feels like her heart is bleeding. It feels like it is being stabbed by thousands of swords. Haku. Naruto yelled, trying his best to catch up to Haku, but the girl couldn't meet the blonde in her current state or she would betray the trust of her savior. She has lost her parents. She refuses to lose another one she loves. It hurts, it really hurts. Life is cruel, isn't it, Naruto-kun? Haku asked, like a whisper which surprised the blonde as he was stunned in his place. Stay safe. Naruto-kun, I love you. The girl whispers, her words being carried by the cold wind and echo between Naruto and her as she turns her head around with a smile. A heartbroken smile as her smile was being decorated with the tear marks on her face. After giving her final message, Haku decided to shunshin away, leaving the blonde alone in the forest. Haku! Naruto yelled loudly. His voice shook the birds that nest on the nearby tree, scaring them all as they fled away from their nest while carrying the desperate cries of Naruto into the deeper part of the forest. Naruto and Kushina's room. That night. What happened, Naru-chan? You haven't said a word since you came back this morning. Kushina asked with worry as she took a seat beside her son who had been looking outside the window for about half an hour with thoughts swimming in his mind. Ka-sama. Is that really no way to save Wave and also not kill Zabuza? Naruto asked as he has been thinking about the best way to save both Wave and Haku, but the only result he can think of is that he can only choose either one side to save. I am afraid no. Naru-chan. The crimson hair mother comforts as she gently pats on her son's head and whispers. They are our enemy, and moreover missing nin like them didn't have any forgiveness or kindness in their heart. It is their own choice to be a cold-blood killing machine that only fights for money. The mother replied as she knows the exact reason why Naruto was being in trouble. After all, Naruto had already told her about the mysterious girl he met in the forest. But Haku-chan isn't a cold-blooded killer. I have seen her helping the kids many times. Maybe, just maybe Naru-chan, but it was her own choice to follow the demon of the mist and we can't do anything about it. Kushina replied, seeing that Naruto still has his gaze locked on the view outside the house. Sigh. Naru-chan, I know it is hard to convince you to let go of a thing after you have set your mind on it, but please remember that she is our enemy and it is the only way to save Tazuna Gigi family and this whole country. Don't stay up till too late. Naru-chan, I love you. Kushina said, seeing Naruto figure was the perfect replica of Minato once possessed, just like his father. Both men are stubborn when they make up their mind to protect something that they cherish very much. Kushina knew she had no way to convince her Naru-chan to let go of his thoughts on saving the girl and the country. Kushina can only go to sleep first and leaves the blonde teenager sitting alone beside the window while in deep thoughts, thinking of a way to save both. Next morning. Damn it. Why can't I just find a way? Having to stay up for the whole night, thinking and searching for the best solution to save Haku and Wave, but all fail, as this makes the blonde to be very frustrated. The blonde thought as he looked at the papers on the table which had recorded the plans. He managed to think. If only I can destroy the cause for all of this. The frustrated blonde yelled in mind, but suddenly it all clicked. Yes, that's it. He just needed to kill the reason for all this and the man that was responsible for the suffering of Wave Gato, then Haku wouldn't have a reason to fight anymore. After the blonde made up his mind, he quickly packed up his things and left the house without waking up his mother or other people, as it was still quite earlier in the morning. An hour later, after he sends his shadow clones to look for thugs who may know Gato's hideout in Wave, but they all return with failure. After half an hour has passed, he still hasn't found any thugs that knew about Gato's hideout, no matter how he interrogates them. Where could the hideout be? The blonde mumbled, sitting on the tree while thinking of the possible locations and trying to search for the thugs that may know about Gato's hideout, but it looks like the thugs Gato left in Wave didn't know anything about his hideout. But suddenly the memory of a clone which Naruto sent to search the west side of the forest found some thugs running toward the west like they were in a hurry. Boss Gato gonna kill us if we didn't make it back at time. TCH, it's all your fault for sleeping late. If we miss the big attack, boss will definitely kill us. Hey, look who's talking. You also have a nice exercise in that brown hair woman bed, right? Were the conversation between the thugs as they kept running toward the west. Big attack was the keyword that caused the blonde to be alert. That could mean that Gato is ready to attack Wave today. And the time left for him isn't much. He must go now. Shit. The blonde cursed as he quickly summoned out 3 more clones and began jumping through trees toward the last position that the thugs were being spotted. I must hurry. You 3 help me guard my surroundings. I can't slow down now, and you quickly go and warn Ka-sama and Kakashi, got it? No problem, boss. All 3 clones reply with them raise up their thumbs and quickly begin their mission with the real Naruto rushing toward the west side of the forest at the fastest speed his legs can carry him. I must hurry. Meanwhile, Tazuna's house. Where did you go, Naru-chan? Kushina woke up about half an hour ago and found out that her son is not with her. Quickly calming down and telling Team Kakashi to guard Tazuna to the bridge first, she began to read on the notes that her Naru-chan left in the room while thinking of the possible direction that her Naru-chan had gone. Ka-sama, yelled a voice behind Kushina as the Crimson Uzumaki quickly turned around only to find out a Naruto's clone jumped in from the window. Naru, Ka-sama, Gato is planning to attack the bridge. The blonde stated urgently and caused Kushina to raise her eyebrow. What do you mean Gato is planning to attack the bridge and how did you get on this information? Fam. A loud sound of the front door being forcefully breaking open alerted everyone in the house and especially caught the attention of a certain crimson hair Uzumaki. No one should be able to break through the barrier I set outside the house without being electrified. Was the thought of Kushina as she quickly picks up her armor and summons out her sword before she rushes toward the front door. Slap. Stop struggling, bitch. Let go of Ka-chan. Young Inari yelled as he tried to free her mom from the holds of several thugs, but how can a young boy defeat a full-grown man? Get lost, kid. Feeling annoyed by the boy's action, the thug who holds tightly on Tsunami plans to deliver a power kick aimed toward Inari's head. Slash. Close your eyes, Inari-chan. The crimson hair Uzumaki ordered as she has her clone to take the young boy away in the last seconds and replace it with her sword. Arg. My leg. The thug yelled in pain, and just when all thugs were still stunned about the situation in front of them and tried to call for more help, but when they did so, they were surprised to find out that yelling or pulling out their weapon options is unavailable. As they soon found out that they could see their body, which was standing still while their face could feel the roughness of the ground surface. Are you okay, Kushina? Tsunami, take care of Inari and no matter who knock on the door, do not open it. Kushina ordered as she summoned out another clone before she rushed out the house, and the one who was responsible for breaking the seal array was already standing outside with several thugs surrounding him. Raiga. Yo, Uzumaki-san, I hope I didn't disturb you beautiful morning. The Thunder of the Mist greeted politely with a bow, as it was he who used his Kiba blades to cut open the barrier and had his blades to absorb the lightning element that was being applied on the barrier. Catch her. A rather muscular build thug ordered, who looks like the leader of the small group of the thugs, and with all of them rushed toward Kushina with the said Uzumaki calmly holding onto her sword. Slash. Sword art. But when they almost reached the Uzumaki, they suddenly felt that they couldn't move any more forward as their legs didn't listen to their command. Dancing whirlpool. With that said, all 7 of the thugs have their heads being cut off, resulting in a quick death without any of them yelling in pain or struggling. And next thing happens is the Uzumaki suddenly appear in front of the missing Nin, clashing her blades with the Thunder Blade wielder, who grins excitedly. As expected from a Uzumaki, Raiga exclaimed excitedly with his blades suddenly cover in lightning. Thunder Gate. The sword man exclaimed as thunder descended from the sky and forced the Uzumaki to do a backflip to dodge the attack. Follow me, Uzumaki, Raiga said with a grin before starting heading toward the direction of the bridge. You are not getting away. Not going to let the missing Nin get away. The crimson Uzumaki woman quickly follows after the missing Nin. Back to Naruto. Damn it. Where is it? The blonde curses in rage. He has been searching for the entrance toward Gato's hideout for half an hour already at the end of the forest, but in front of him is once again 10 or even 20 more abandoned mine caves. He even sent out his clones to search for the entrance, but most of the caves were long and deep with many small caves inside the big one, some even had some dangerous traps or giant pits. I am out of time. The blonde cursed once more as he keeps receive the memory of his clones being dispelled because of the danger environment in the cave, but suddenly. If you are looking for Gato, he is not at here, said a voice which isn't too far away from the blonde, and this shocked the blonde as he quickly sprang into action by pulling out his kunai and looked toward that direction with his Mangekyu active. Gato has left his hideout this morning, it seems he is planning to take over Wave. Naruto looked toward the source of the voice but was surprised to find out that the source of the sound did not belong to a man. The said thing was simply standing on the tree branch, enjoying the cold breeze in the forest while having his eyes inspecting on Naruto. Who are you? Asked the blonde caution, and what troubled him more was that the thing chakra signature was not similar to human. Even normal civilians will still have a little bit chakra, but this thing chakra is unique. Who I am is not important, but what is important is if you not hurry, the one you are trying to save will die. The thing said calmly before it stood up from its position. Without even using chakra, the thing jumps off the tree branch and lands in front of the blonde gracefully. The mysterious thing that is currently standing before Naruto can be now identified as an animal that has whitish to gray fur with black spots on its head and neck, with larger rosettes on the back, flanks and bushy tail. Its eyes are gray in color, its muzzle is short and its forehead domed. It was a snow leopard. Ta-da! The summon beast I choose for Naruto XD. With the snow leopard now distance in front Naruto's several meters away, the leopard calmly raises up its head to inspect Naruto for several seconds before he turns it toward a tree that is on the left side of those mine caves. There lies Gato's hideout. It was a military base set by Mizu during the Third World War, so it wasn't easy to be spotted. The leopard said, and caused the blonde to have doubt but still turned to the direction the leopard pointed. Save the one you cherish and I shall meet you again, Namikaze. With that said, the leopard then turns around and leaves, but this alerts the blonde as the name Namikaze truly surprises him. How does this man know about his potential true father? But when he turned his head back to the animal, the leopard was gone, leaving Naruto alone in the forest. What? Shock and surprise were all Naruto could say as he now looks like a fish gasping for water and can't even close up his mouth. Phew. No time to lose, I have to find that bastard. But with years of shinobi training, the blonde quickly gains back his focus as he quickly rushes toward the direction of the mysterious leopard pointed, and there he sees a large wooden door that uses the same color or material to disguise itself within the giant tree. Anyone would probably miss this door if they didn't inspect it closely. Closely and silently creep toward the door. The blonde carefully pushes open the door. Is someone there? A guard that was guarding the door immediately heard the movement of the heavy wooden door and decided to pull open the door to inspect, but he never expected that he would look directly into the deadly eyes of the Mangekyu, and next thing he knew was his head had been quickly cut off silently. After discarding the guard, Naruto quickly performs a transformation jutsu and turns himself into the guard before he walks into the hideout. And surprisingly, or just like the mysterious leopard said, Gato is planning for a big attack, so there aren't any guards in the first hall. Sending out his clones, he managed to locate Gato's office that is at the top and only has several guards guarding it there. Wasting no time, the blonde quickly rushes toward the upper floor. Hey, what are you doing here? Several alerted guards yelled, but as soon as they pull out their swords, smoke bombs were being thrown into that area, and soon the whole floor was being covered in the smoke. We are under. One of the guards yelled, but he couldn't finish his sentence as his throat was being sliced open, and several Naruto's clones quickly rushed toward the office. With the help of his bloodline, the blonde can spotted his enemies clearly in the smoke, but those who can't see. Arg. We're all being killed rather quickly. Please don't kill me, pleads a skinny man with formal working attire and has a pair of black glasses who doesn't hold a weapon. as he tries to hide under Gato's table. "Where is Gato?" a voice asked just beside the man as he turned toward the direction. He almost had his heart stop pounding as he saw a pair of crimson eyes of demon staring right just into his soul. Gato. Gato-sama had left already. He planned to kill Zabuza and his team after they battle with those Konoha nins. And after that he will capture the black hair girl of Zabuza and sells her. That's all I know. I swear. The skinny man plead desperately as he even grabs onto Naruto's legs and start kissing his feet with the blonde staring at the man for a second before raise up his kunai. "Ah, please. Spare me." And knock out the man with the back of his kunai before taking out a sealing scroll and lock the man into the scroll. "I must quickly get to the bridge before it all too late." With that the blonde quickly rushed out from the hideout and headed toward the bridge. At the bridge. Meanwhile, the battle at the bridge had been intense. At first everything was fine until the bridge was suddenly covered up by mist and all the workers were either being hit hard and fell unconscious or just being frozen into an ice statue. Acting quick, the copy nin immediately ordered his team to stay guard and protect Tazuna, and just in the last second, he manages to dodge the giant blade sent by the demon of the hidden mist. Not long after Zabuza made his appearance, the other sword man also arrived with a very pissed off Uzumaki follow behind him. Just like before, the demon and the thunder of the mist threatened both team leaders to hand out the bridge builder to exchange for their freedom, and just like last time both leaders refused before both of them went into their respective battle stance. With Kushina fought Raiga, Kakashi handles Zabuza, Uchiha Sasuke and Inuzuka Kiba the both so-called elites fight Haku herself, and left the best Kunoichi of the year whose best usage is to be cute on the battlefield to guard the bridge builder. For Kushina, it wasn't too hard to handle Raiga as she was more skillful in sword art and her wind style can cancel Raiga's lightning element attacks. As for Kakashi, his battle with Zabuza can be called a fair duel. For Sakura, she can surely be a cheerleader captain if it was in high school, but for Sasuke and Kiba, "Stop moving around, you fool." Kiba yelled furiously as now he was trapped in some kind of ice dome along with his rival Sasuke, and no matter how many affords they tries or how many shuriken or jutsu they throw toward their attacker, it was all invalid and not even one of the attack can manage to hurt the ice user. "Fire release. Fire jutsu." Sasuke exclaimed, trying to melt the ice, but found out that the result even he himself can't believe. The ice mirror didn't even melt or being burned, it just looks like nothing has attacked it. "Yield and I will not hurt you," was all Haku said behind her mask. "At least Naruto-kun isn't here. Naruto-kun, I wish you a happy life after this." With Kushina. Clank. Clank. With the fire spark and the sound of metal crashing together echoing through the whole battle, the battle between Kushina and Raiga was intense, but it was also within her expectation. Raiga, being one of the swordsmen of the mist, was quite skilled in sword art. Even with the skill he possesses, she was certain that she could have finished him already if not because of the damn lightning element which acts as the shield of Raiga. From where Kushina was, she could see Zabuza and Kakashi fighting, while she could also hear Sasuke and Kiba fighting the girl that Naruto told her before. She had heard Zabuza ordered the girl to quickly finish off both boys and attack the bridge builder, but from what she heard from Naruto, she believed that the girl couldn't perform a kill, so now both team members of Team 7 are still safe. "Hey, you fight is with me, lady." The thunder of the mist complains with a grin, and before Kushina could finish her thoughts, Raiga suddenly performs another lightning slash aimed toward Kushina's head. Clank. "I know," Kushina replied calmly without even turning her head to the Kiba blade. "By the way, where is the blonde brat? Is he too afraid to fight, or?" "Naruto didn't wish to fight you guys," was the reply of Kushina, as this quite surprised Raiga, and with just milliseconds of surprise his head was almost being cut off, but now he is sure that Kushina's sword skill must be way above him. As their fight carried on, Raiga was getting frustrated because he had stated to receive small scratches and cuts from Kushina. At first, He still can perform several lightning attacks but soon after decided to preserve his chakra because he knew that her chakra reserve was a lot bigger than his. After seeing that Kushina was staying on the defensive mostly he couldn't conclude that she was just playing with him or she was just trying to catch the best opportunity to defeat him in one move. Watching that Kushina once again defect his blades calmly without even a bit of shock or surprise, Raiga soon began to be nervous and lost his stance. When he once again tried to cut her head with a wide swing of his swords, Kushina dodged by crouching under it and swiftly appeared behind Raiga with her sword returned to its hilt. Sword art. Half moon slash. Kushina exclaimed, and in just a moment Raiga's back was being injured by Kushina's upward slash, and if he didn't jump in the last second he is sure that he is now laying on the ground out cold. Cough. Yield. Kushina orders as she points her sword toward the Thunder of the Mist, who is now one knee on the ground and has his mouth cough out blood together with his hands begin to shake while trying their best